This is the start of our third unit on polygons, and we're going to start with just getting a little bit accustomed to what angles look like and the size of them and what we call them. This exercise here I'm never going to get you to do. I'm never going to get you to draw an angle, okay? You know, if you had to, you would use a protractor, but I'm not going to do that to you. But you should know how big a 68-degree angle is. Okay, so if you were going to draw a 68-degree angle, this measure would be about 68 degrees. So how do we know about how big that is? Well, if you think about, you know, a complete circle, we know that a complete circle is 360 degrees. Okay, so then if we divide a circle in half, you'd get to 180 degrees, and then half of that would be 90 degrees. So 68 is somewhere in between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, so again, we'll draw a 68-degree angle. It's going to be something like this. And we call this an acute angle. Okay? So then let's do the next one, 215 degrees. I can see this is bigger than 180 degrees. And I know 180 degrees is like this big. It's like a flat line. So if I want to go bigger than that, what I'm going to do is I'll do something like this. This here is going to be, we'll call it 215 degrees. Now if you had to think about that a little bit more closely, you know, here would be 180 degrees, and then this would be 35 more. Okay, because 180 plus 35 would equal 215. Okay. So this is 215 degrees, and we call this a reflex angle. Any angle that's bigger than 180 degrees. So let's write that in here. Bigger than 180. If you want, you can also label your acute angle. This is between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, and then the next one is going to be the obtuse. Okay, obtuse is from 90 to 180 degrees. So 91 is going to be just a little bit more than perfectly 90 degrees. So we're just going to say it's a little bit more like that. So that's 91 degrees. And this is an obtuse angle. Okay, so why don't you pause the video and see if you can do the next one, or the next few. Okay, 32 degrees is a pretty small angle. Here's 32. This one is acute. Okay, 180 degrees is a straight line. So what do we call that? Well, that happens to be what we call a straight angle. Okay, and 99 degrees is going to be a little bit more than 90 degrees. And this one is going to be obtuse. Okay. Again, you can pause the video and try these next two. I think the last one's probably going to be the hardest. 195 is going to be a little bit bigger than a straight line. Okay, and we call that one reflex. But then 265. How big is 265? Well, let's just draw a circle for a second. I know that's 360. So that's 180. This was 90. If I add 90 to 180, I get 270. Okay? And so 265 is just a little bit smaller than that. So not straight down here. Like it's not a 90-degree angle here. It's just a little bit less than that. Okay, and this is also still a reflex angle. Okay, so you should be familiar with the sizes of angles and what they're called. I may ask you for those words or to label what an angle would look like. Okay, but I will not get you to draw one exactly. Okay, let's put it into a word problem. The elevation of a solar panel on a house should be between 25 and 70 degrees. Okay, so if we just did a quick sketch, 20 degrees would be pretty small. 70 degrees would be quite a bit bigger. This is supposed to be between that. A building contractor wants to install solar panels on a roof of 55 degrees. Draw a 55-degree angle for the roof. Okay, so that's just going to be somewhere in between. You know, if this was 70 and this was 20, then this is going to be somewhere in between. Okay? Okay, so after naming some angles, let's name some sides or some shapes based on the number of sides. Okay, some of these will be pretty easy for you. I think you can all see this as a triangle. That's not a hard one. There's 3 sides. You know that. I think you can all see this one as a square. There are 4 sides. Do you know what a 5-sided figure is? Call this a pentagon. Okay. Next one, this one's called a rectangle. Okay, and just take a second, pause the video, and see if you can remember, or if you even know some of these. Most of these you probably don't know, but see if you can write them down without the video. Okay, so pause it. All right, coming back, what is a 6-sided figure called? This is a hexagon. All right, this one is a 7-sided figure. This is probably a word you've never used. Heptagon. All right, the 8-sided figure, that's a really common one because that's our stop sign. That's an octagon. Isn't that what they also use for fighting, for the martial arts stuff? I think they used an octagon. Okay. For sure, you've never used a 9-sided figure, a nonagon. It's got to be a weirdest of names. And then maybe you knew the 10-sided figure. It's a decagon. Okay. All right, that's the end of this quick lesson. So I'm going to end it, and then we'll start our first lesson on polygons.